That was definitely unfortunate, if you want to call it like that. It was in a moment of the game where when we were coming back at 1-1, we were hit the post. So I thought we were in a good moment at that moment of time. By the way, similar in the first half, because when we conceded the 1-0, I think that was also in a spell where we played acceptable. And yeah, then if you concede the 2-1 in the fashion we did, with the fans behind them, they were getting more and more chances, and another set piece from the free and led to a well-deserved win for them.
Why do you feel it was that it was so difficult to respond? As you said, the fans got behind them and Villa just seemed to be surging forward. After that, you seem to lose an element of control that you had 1-1.
Yeah, I think you're right. We had that control over the large parts of the game, but not after the 2-1 anymore. And that's also why they scored the 3-1, although it was from a set piece, not from open play, but they were already a few times after the 2-1 very close. I think immediately after kickoff, they already had a chance to score the 3-1. So that was a part of the game where we definitely struggled with their pace, intensity, and quality.
Do you feel it's been a story of the season to some degree? You know, not being able to keep the ball out of the net often enough.
No, it's definitely that we've conceded far too many goals, but I think we also didn't score enough goals. Although 2 away at Villa Park is not bad. If you would have told me before the game you score 2, you think you're close to a result and hit the post. But yeah, we've conceded 4 and 3 out of 4 from set pieces, and that's too much. Although we also scored, of course, twice from a set piece.
I know you've had significant injury problems, and they've certainly played a part, but looking at the players out on the pitch there tonight, why do you think that was? Was it a mentality thing? Why do you think they were unable to cope?
Now you're referring, I think, to the period where we struggled after the 2-1. But overall, I don't think the players deserve what you are just saying. I think they did cope with this difficult away game. They were fully in the game, fully able maybe to get a result, but indeed I agree with you, after the 2-1 we crumbled and we struggled. In the end came back to 4-2, so they did not give up, but we struggled to control, as I said, their pace, intensity and quality.
They're the sort of key moments though, aren't they? I agree, obviously, you know, there were large portions of the game where things were going how you would have wanted, but in the real key moments, was that the concern?
Yeah, but that's not for the first time. So I think when we are the better team, we struggle to find that goal. Mainly because we are not able to create big enough chances when we are the better team, and when we are not, when we have a period of time where we are struggling or the other team is better than us, we tend to concede too easy. And I think before this game we were there was only Bournemouth who had conceded more set piece goals than us, but I wouldn't be surprised that after this game we are number 1 in set piece goals conceded, and that's never a good thing to be number 1 in.
Depending on what happens in midweek, it could take Champions League qualification right up to the wire as well. Is that something that is going to be a bit of concern and add extra pressure going into the final game next week?
Yeah, of course. We're under full pressure now. Although it feels as if we've been under full pressure the whole season, because of the only thing we can do now is be as well prepared as we can, and that's also what we're going to do. It's a long week because we play on Sunday and now it's Friday, and as always we are of course hoping that our fans will be fully behind us, because you could see tonight, as we've experienced so many times at Anfield, how important it can be to play in a stadium where you're all together. But we need to show, of course, from the first moment onwards, that we deserve that support from our fans.
Another really tough night for Arne Slot. 52 goals conceded, the most in a 38 Premier League game season. Not the stat that you want to be in charge of as a manager. That goal difference has gone from, was it 45 last season, down to 10 this time round. And here is an obvious section of results which they have struggled. Away against top 9 teams, just 1 point. That point they picked up at Arsenal back in January, but here was another defeat, conceding 4 away from home for the first time in 3 years. And he referenced the set pieces. That's now 19 they've conceded from set pieces, which is the joint most, along with Bournemouth. And now it's 9 away defeats. I mean, there are so many stats you can throw at it, Jamie, but will all of this just add more fuel to the fire in terms of Arne Slot and his position?
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, what I'm seeing this year is what I expected to happen last year. You know, I really thought Liverpool would have a difficult time after losing Jurgen Klopp, because he was such an obviously talismanic manager that just was so influential on everything, not just the way they played, the city, everything. So I thought last year I would have seen performances like this, but it didn't happen. They won the league. Now, this year, for whatever reason, there's been such a drop-off. And when I say whatever reason, there's so many reasons behind it. So many mitigating circumstances at the start of the season. And I don't want to make too many excuses for the players, because that isn't good enough, what we've seen this year. What they've served up, the energy. But Isak, you sign for big money, gets injured, then he starts getting fit, gets injured again. Ekitike's had an up and down start.
The big question that Liverpool fans are asking, Jamie, is he addressing the problems? Is he the man to sort these problems long-term?
You can't address problems when you haven't got the best players fit. You know, it's very hard to address a problem when you haven't got Isak or you haven't got Ekitike and Wirtz. A lot of this is on him. A lot of this is on him. And if they don't get the Champions League football that they crave, they deserve, they want, he's going to be under big pressure. And I think there'll be question marks. I think the fans will decide to a certain extent. They're an educated fan base. They don't really turn on their managers. But you see it. I hear it. I'm listening to people. A lot of people are maybe going away from wanting him as the manager next year. I really struggle with that, because when you've won the league the year before and then you decide you're going to get rid of the manager the following year, that doesn't sit too well with me. And obviously the massive elephant in the room is Xabi Alonso. Now, a lot of fans are seduced by that idea, understandably so. You know, he did a great job at Leverkusen. He's an elite manager at Real Madrid. And I see the attraction. But there is also a part of me, and I'm sure a lot of Liverpool fans are going, I don't see that. I think you deserve another year after winning the Premier League title. And I expect better next year. I expect a better version of Wirtz. I see a better version of obviously getting Isak fit. Ekitike is still going to be a while off. They need to get another right back, and you need to bring more energy into the team. But I'm still uncomfortable if they get Champions League, getting rid of a manager.
He struggled with their pace, intensity and quality, says Arne Slot. That's his reaction. What did you make of what he just said?
That's an interesting post-match. I felt the opportunities that Villa took, and we've already said this, the quality of the goals was probably the major difference. The moments in the game, you know, Liverpool were on top of the game in that second half when Dom slips. Rio's just hit the post, and then all of a sudden you're chasing the game again. I'm not sure I saw a crumble myself. I just saw Liverpool not being able to give the quality and the finishing that Aston Villa had.
Yeah, that was an interesting comment, wasn't it?
Yeah, the crumble one, I went, ooh. But we are looking at champions of the Premier League from last season, and to be playing the way they are, and to be conceding the manner that they are. And again, I'm not saying they don't have character, but they're all disjointed. It doesn't feel right, and so maybe that's what he's sensing. No, he said they didn't. I'm not saying they don't have character, but they're all disjointed. It doesn't feel right, and so maybe that's what he's sensing. No, he said they didn't give up, maybe because that's
In his first 3, with regards to winning silverware, getting to finals, whatever. I think the frustration, I totally agree with Karen, is that what we saw in the players that are still at the club last season, we haven't seen this year. The likes of Wirtz, Isak coming in as new players, even Rio as a young player coming through. The expectation is that they should replace what we had last season.
Top season, and it's not just because you played in it.
Thanks. Yeah, but in the first season there were, I think it was 44 games, so there was a lot more games in that one defeat, and I think I wasn't playing in that defeat.
Connected, you talk about players throwing their arms in the air. You know, you can maybe understand where you lose a Trent and a Salah combination, which I think was like 56 goals last season. But defensively, you should be able as a group to be tight, to be compact, to be hard to beat, to have a bit of intensity, to have a bit of fight, to put your foot in, to make a tackle. That's where I think the Liverpool fans are frustrated, because it doesn't feel like their team. It's such a huge drop-off, and I think they understand the players that have been injured, and obviously there's a lot of factors, but that's not good enough for Liverpool, who won the Premier League last season.
We've also been wondering about the manager's future, and I think Arne Slot in his press conference leading up to this game had said the indications are that he will still be here next season and Liverpool manager. How can he turn it around? What would you like to see him do?
Well, I think it's the right decision to keep Arne in the position. Acquiring Arne, he would have had a set plan for 2 or 3 years in order to sort of keep the position, win a trophy. He did that in year 1. So he's got qualification for the Champions League this year in year 2. Year 3 will have to be a success. How are you going to gauge that success, whether it's winning a trophy or winning the Premier League again? We won't find out till the end of the season. But I think the one thing that he's going to have going into next year is a better pre-season, a more stabilised squad, new faces, possibly, well, probably. And I'm optimistic that next season will be good for him.
They still have to rubber stamp that Champions League qualification. Let's look at the race for Europe and what tonight means for the final couple of games of the season, because Bournemouth and Brighton still have to play 2 more games. There's one left for Liverpool, and that is against Brentford, who are now out of the running for Champions League, because if they beat Liverpool in the final game of the season, Liverpool won't be able to then finish in 4th to push Villa back into 5th, which if they win the Europa League on Wednesday would then mean 6th place would be good enough. So a lot of calculations going on. But how do you see that race for Europe ending?
I mean, you described it really well there. I don't know how I would do it. But look, I still think Bournemouth, after Man City playing an FA Cup final, they'd only be a point away.
The Liverpool response, but they were well beaten, particularly in this second half here. And the Liverpool fans just in front of us here, a lot of them had well gone before the final whistle blew. Let's take you back to the first goal of the night, which seems an awful long time ago now. And it was a really smart set-piece move, Jamie.
Yeah, there's so many things that have to happen for this. You've got 6 or 7 players that are involved. Tielemans is almost the one orchestrating it. He's now going, okay, got his arm up, wait. Now we're ready. You can see Morgan Rogers is on the move. They play the ball back to John McGinn. Then they got what they're hoping for is for the 2 players, for Rio to go out engaged and then Kirkes. Then that leaves Morgan Rogers free. You can see all of that space there. You can see Buendia, number 10. He's then taken, I think it's Cody Gakpo. And then you've got your best player, and we've seen him do this against Man United, in the position to bend it into the top corner. You see Morgan Rogers on the move. It's almost what you see sometimes in American football, like special teams, people moving, people taking people out of play. Now you've got that space that you wanted, and it's a brilliant finish. Yes, you could look at the goalkeeper. I think you see this angle here. I think he sees maybe that Soboslai might be in the way, but great technique. So well worked, and it just shows you the detail that you have to go through. Years ago we'd say, I was on free kicks, you were on free kicks, then you'd go, well, we've got a set piece here, I'm maybe going to try and pick out my centre back, and then with maybe a little bit of movement at the near post, maybe the flick on. Gary McAllister was always great at the near post flick on. That was as far as it went. Nowadays everybody has to engage in it. The amount of detail that you have to take on. That was their first corner of the match. So they knew the first corner, we are going to do this, and everyone has to be part of it. And when you see him come out, it's quite ominous when you see, what's his name? Austin. Austin comes out, you think, oh, we're in trouble here. But absolutely brilliant. And I think it's credit to, everybody buying into it as well.
Yeah, I think it's a fight margins, isn't it? And I've seen them do them all season here, and sometimes they haven't come off. But I think that's the whole point of it. You try these certain things, as you say, it's drawing players out, it's making space, and everyone's got to buy into these ideas that Austin's doing, and it's been successful. You see the amount of set pieces, about 17.
17 they've scored from, 12 from corners. Is he also on defensive set pieces though as well? I didn't see him when he slides into the background when that happens.
Had his glasses on and his little wig.
Yeah, someone forgot to pick up the biggest man on the pitch.
Oh my word, I mean, this was far too easy. I think the 2 goals, to be quite honest, were far too easy. And there's a little bit of hustle and bustle on the edge of the box, but nothing that should rule this goal out. Matty Cash goes down far too easy for me, but, it's all about the delivery. And then when you've got Virgil in that sort of area with no one around him, know what's
takes
coming
it well, Lee, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a really good header, but he's got no pressure. And then it's all about just making sure you get that contact in towards the far corner.
So a good start to the second half for Liverpool. This contest was very much in the balance. Now, Ollie Watkins had been booked at the back end of the first half, so he was on a yellow card. And then this incident just after the equalising goal, in this crazy 10 minutes, from about the 50th minute onwards. You got Liverpool equalising, then Ollie Watkins runs clear, and I think a lot of people are waiting for a whistle, or maybe the linesman's flag here. And Ollie Watkins runs on and puts the ball in the net. Keep your eye on the referee, Chris Kavanagh, there. So Ollie Watkins is in offside position. The flag has gone up, but where's the whistle? Doesn't come until after the ball is in the back of the net. And the interesting point we raised that is because the Liverpool bench were protesting straight away, thinking that should have been a second yellow card.
But they've
for
got
Ollie
no
Watkins.
right to be, because the referee waited. And in fairness to Ollie, it was so tight. He's going at such a pace. He should have kept himself on side first of all. I think we all accept that. But when he doesn't, the referee doesn't blow the whistle, and he's more than entitled to put the ball in the back of the net. So it's not a second yellow card because it was so fine, the margin there.
I said there was a real flurry of activity because before Watkins then went to the other end and scored, Rio and Gamora had hit the post at this end at 1-1. And then it was a question of who could keep their calm, who could stay on their feet as well at times.
Yeah, I mean,
it's Bosley couldn't.
I know. I mean, it's the old Steven Gerrard slip, isn't it, to a certain extent, with Bosley just going down. But it's brilliant how Villa react, that little ball inside, and then there's still an awful lot for Ollie to do. You know, I mean, Morgan has that little bit of a press on, but once he goes to ground, I mean, he's in all sorts of trouble because Villa obviously are on the front foot. But even that clever little ball round the corner,
lovely pass.
You know, it's well weighted for Ollie just to come on. And yes, the contact doesn't have to be perfect. It wasn't perfect, but making sure he hits the target, which he has done, and then he gets that goal.
2-1, then Mamadishvili makes a big save to keep it at 2-1, and then a few minutes later, he can't keep this one out.
I mean,
great technique by Tielemans, but just Chiesa, just number 14. You can see.
So has he just got to go out, Jamie? With the rest
he's
of his
come on
team?
as sub, and you can see the two subs that come on, Wirtz and Chiesa, both keep him on side. They don't rush out like everybody else. You can see. But I will also say, Cody Gakpo, if you're going to run out, number 18, you don't just run out, you run out and you mark to make sure, especially if you see someone behind you that's keeping people on side. They reacted quicker. Obviously, Pau Torres should score. Good first save, and the second one, Ollie Watkins just scrambles it in. He is Liverpool's nemesis. They just can't handle him. I've seen it. I remember the game in COVID. Did he get 3-4 goals, whatever it was? Nobody gives Virgil van Dijk more difficulties than what this guy does. He's a menace to Liverpool.
7-6 against Liverpool here at Villa Park. It's just something in them that seemed to bring the best out. He enjoyed that physical contact, it seemed, with Konate
it did.
as well.
I mean, it seemed that way, didn't it? I mean, all night that was happening, Konate and Van Dijk, but he obviously got the better of him. He enjoys the fact. And I watched him tonight, and there was a couple of little incidents where he looked like he was getting angry with, and I never really see that, but it's almost like he's got that